Test subject 19 was a subject that we procured from North Congo River. After our first physical examination, we determined that he would be an optimal test subject for our research. His vital signs were above normal, and he was very expressive, which was something we were looking for, considering the nature of our experimentation. We selected him from a pool of 8 other chimps, and we named him Muka. While past versions of this experiment were conducted in only a matter of hours, we wanted to document the effects of long-term exposure to mirrors on the chimpanzee. For testing, Muka was to be placed in front of a mirror for 10 hours a day for 3 weeks. Initially, our test subject responded to the mirror as we had expected, in that he identified what he saw in the mirror as an entirely different entity other than himself. He really seemed to like the other image in the mirror. It gave him company, a sense of solidarity, and that he was not just the only monkey in this experiment. He started to spend more and more time examining parts of his body that could not be directly seen. For instance, he would pick at his teeth or make faces. And though he had made faces before to the other creature in the mirror, this time it was really that he was examining himself. It wasn't anything playful. There was a sense of inquiry to it. Along with this recognition, Muka underwent some remarkable behavioral changes. On one particular day, Muka attacked me as I was taking notes. He ripped my lab coat off of me, and then, to my surprise, he then put it on, along with my glasses, which had also fallen off. Before long, Muka became completely involved in his own image. He started periodically stealing scientists' lab coats, and so to sort of go with this trend in his behavior, we placed clothes on the floor around him, and to see if he would perhaps even have a preference in the colors or the clothing that he would wear. And so we did end up seeing, he had a tendency for darker colors when he was feeling down, and on brighter days, lighter colors. So he would just prance around in front of the mirror after he put clothes on and just try things out. And another unusual change that we found was that he became attached to one of the interns that we have periodically working in our office, Miss Dunaway. And I'm not sure why, but when she went to feeding him, he would become more attached to her, maybe because she played more games with her. She wasn't as busy as us other scientists. While originally Muka's relationship with her seemed fairly non-substantial, we found that he grew immediately more attached to her after learning to appreciate fashion. It seems that his exposure to the mirror had made him self-aware, and in turn the awareness of himself made him aware of himself around others, even when the mirror was no longer there, which I think was a big factor in his relationship with Miss Dunaway. It's now week 3. At this point, we had moved our experiment from test facility A to test facility B. Muka did not handle the change very well, and I think it added some extraneous variables to our experiment that we could very well have done without. Muka started acting stranger and stranger, and I'm not sure what was causing this, and that was frustrating, and we didn't really know what to do about him. His decisions on clothing and his manner, they began becoming darker and darker. He shunned human contact and spent an increasingly amount of time away from the mirror, which, come on, what were we supposed to do about that? This entire experiment started about the mirror, and now we can't even get the monkey to go up to it. We were about to give up, but shockingly, Muka came to have bouts of suicidal tantrums as well. We found knives on him. We tried to jump out the side of a window. I had to grab him and this side of time, knock him out. We didn't know what was causing this. We thought that perhaps our laboratory assistant, Miss Dunaway, who was no longer visiting and who we had really bonded with, perhaps her absence was causing this relapse into what I can only describe as depression. We had no choice but to conclude our research. The result was a failure. As for the monkey, he had become incorrigible. No amount of reconditioning seemed to restore him to his natural chimpanzee instincts. He was lost and regrettable. He was to be terminated.